Yo.
Yo, what is good, Ethan? What is good, everybody? We are back with another episode of the Radical Souls podcast. It is Friday, January 8th. I'm Daniel.
I'm Ethan, and Chris is still in spirit. Don't worry, he's getting things done in his apartment.
Yeah, he good. He's actually very good. He said he should be back next week. You know, he's doing the final little ticky-tack, knicky-knack stuff that you got to do when you're moving into an apartment. And, you know,
Right.
he'll be back to talk about his new love for all the Texas teams, you know?
Exactly.
Yo, but Ethan, while we're here, we're gonna get into a few different things. We want to talk a little bit about the Capitol on Wednesday. We're not gonna deep dive into it. You know, this isn't political. It's more about sneakers and sports, but it happened, so we got to talk about it a little bit at least.
Of course.
We're gonna talk MLB because you broke major news for your Mets, and definitely want to talk a little bit about that. And on the flip side of New York, what's going on with the Yankees a little bit now that someone's involved in a little bit of a sticky situation. And then we got the bet, Ethan. The Knicks versus the Thunder, literally in 20 minutes, dog. We got the bet, so we're going to talk about what each team needs to do to avoid one of us wearing boxers on our head. Then we'll talk a little bit about other NBA news, such as what we saw in last night's game between Brooklyn and Philly, and just other things that have been uptrend. And we'll wrap it up with our NFL game picks, week one of the playoffs. All right, let's get it.
Let's get it.
Yo, so, with everybody, if you don't know about this, it's just because you either ignorant or you haven't been in the country or, you're locked up. One of the three.
It must be an island, just not nowhere near here.
Yeah, we know that the Capitol got stormed by Trump supporters, whatever people want to label them as, because there's so many different things that are going around. Long story short, everybody got to look at this from all different angles. I think we should all step back for a little bit and just look at everything, let's not look at the situation and jump to, the conclusion of, oh, no, they're protesting, everything that happened was fine, they were just expressing their frustration. But at the same time, we can't look at it and be like, yo, but that was effed. Like, that's crazy. I think people just got to step back and look at every angle of the situation and really see what's going on, break it down and just have, the conversation, because it's there. It's right in front of us, bro. Like, we got to all step back, look at it and see the situation as it is. And also not forget, this might have low-key been a blessing in disguise because, people were protesting all summer. We've been protesting for years and years and years to get equal rights. And everybody was like, oh, you guys are fine. I don't know why people are complaining. You guys got rights, yada, yada, yada. And then, what happened on Wednesday kind of showed the difference between the rights and just everything that can go down. So, that just for some food for thought for some people. We're not going to deep dive into it, but, if you want to add on.
Honestly, like you said, it's a blessing in disguise because what they did shows that they only did it because Trump lost. You're just being a sore loser. That's the only reason why you did it. Not only did you do it in the capital out of all places in the whole world, you did it right where Trump is, and he let it rock. So, it shows you how much power they have, in my opinion, that they have on just the country alone, and they're able to do this without getting arrested, to walk in and walk out without any injuries other than the one girl. It was just crazy to watch. It was really just insane to think that this could be possible for them to just walk in casually, take what they want, sit in, was it Senate's desk?
Yeah, Senator, they sat in different rooms all over the building. So,
And in one of the should be most secure place to not get in, but of course, they just trolled in like it was nothing. So it's sad to see, but it opens our eyes even more. You're just showing us who your true colors are.
word,
And they literally just showed it to the whole world how they are. And it shows bad. It always has, but now it definitely to the top. This is the peak of all right, you did this. It's going down to history. There's no going back.
word. But hopefully everything gets resolved. I know they've been arresting a lot of people now. They're still trying to add some more people. They're looking for like a few people. I think they said there was a cop that got killed. They're trying to figure out how that happened. You had the girl that got shot in the neck that you were talking about, and there was a lot of stuff, man. It was crazy, but we'll just leave it at that because we ain't trying to deep dive into this. This ain't a political channel. We're here for sports and sneakers. So with that being said, let's start with your boy now that I know you're gonna get a jersey of.
How you know I'm gonna get a jersey already? Maybe I already pre-ordered it. No, I like how our GM's playing around. I think it was Tuesdays ago. Have you said the news?
Yeah. So
And
if
he
you
said
want
he
to break,
did like it though.
if you want to break the news,
While all I saw was Lindor and another player.
Carrasco, he's a starting pitcher.
Carrasco, so going into the trade. But I didn't get to see the final trade.
So the Mets traded Ahmad Rosario, Andres Jimenez, and two other people, I forgot who, for Lindor and Carrasco. Now, I told you I like the trade. My only big problem is Lindor should be a free agent at the end of this year. So the minute that he gets that contract extension, it's a great trade. They are winners of this trade. You got a starting pitcher that can slide in, help you guys out starting, or even relief. Because I remember last year the problem with the Mets was there was a lot of injuries to that starting rotation, and that can help you guys in a sense of, you guys got somebody who can bring out the bullpen or you can start them and move things around. And Lindor is Lindor, bro. Like, honestly, if I was the Yankees, I wish they would have went for him, but they're a little bit of a different situation with Gleyber Torres and trying to re-sign DJ LeMahieu. So, like I said, my main thing is re-sign Lindor. I think it's a steal. If you can't re-sign him and he's like, nah, I want to wait it out, then, I took a bit of a risk that could bite you guys in the butt.
Well, so far I like how this GM is playing a little different, playing a little risky, but for good players. Like, he's not like these players that are like, okay, he's going out to get one of the best players out there just to have. So let's try to make a difference and win some games this year and get back into that World Series.
Word. You guys have been projected to be favorites after that trade, and I don't blame you guys. It's Lindor, bro. Like, I think, in my opinion, he's top 3 shortstops. I mean, I don't know if other people would agree with me, but you guys still got Syndergaard, who's coming off an injury. You guys got DeGrom. You guys have Lugo, who you guys were interchanging between the bullpen and starting. You got Stroman coming back from the COVID opt-out, and you got Carrasco. All you guys got to do is just, beef up the bullpen a little bit because they were a little shaky last year. And I heard you guys are trying to trade for Chris Bryant from the Cubs, so that will fill the void at third base. If that goes down, I think it's safe to say that you guys are going to be fighting with the Dodgers at the end of all of this.
And then I can finally say that I'm equal to the Yankees.
You could even say that with a serious face.
I couldn't.
But hopefully, we have Garrett Cole this year. Because news have broken today that there's an Angels staff member who got fired a few months back because they found out that he was selling an illegal substance to help pitchers grip the ball a little bit better. Now, for the people that don't know about baseball too much, the reason that matters is it helps you hold the ball a lot better, so you can get the rotation on the balls a lot, to spin a lot more. You can change the trajectory of the ball a little bit more when you have that pressure applied in certain areas. So a lot of people that were involved were Garrett Cole, top pitchers in the league: Max Scherzer, Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, Corey Kluber, King Felix. He was knocking out people left and right, and those text messages from Garrett Cole talking about a sticky situation he has, and I'm like, oh god.
Not looking good.
But he was an Astro at the time, so still fuck the Astros, thank God. So it didn't hurt the Yankees too much. It's just something that I hope he doesn't get suspended for if they look into it and
In the future,
hurts the Yankees. Yeah. So that's that. Coincidental that our teams are battling tonight after we're talking about the Mets and Yankees. We got the Knicks and Thunder. For the people that haven't seen the episodes in the past and are seeing this episode, me and Ethan have a bet that's going to take place in about 12 minutes. Well, it's not going to be tip-off in 12 minutes. We know they're going to start at 7:50, but loser has to wear boxers on their head in the next podcast episode.
What color is my underwear?
So, Ethan, what do the Thunder have to do to make sure that you do not have some tighty whities on your head?
We have to lock down Randall and RJ. They've been looking way too good lately, and we got to put that to stop. And we better not let Rivers show out like he's an all-star, because that was insane the other game.
Yeah, against Utah, literally 2 nights ago. Like he lit them up quick.
Lit him up like it was Curry out there. Like
He scored
we can't let that happen.
14 straight points for the Knicks, yo. Like it was crazy to watch.
We can't let that happen. No.
Yeah, for us, for me to not have a pair of boxes on my head, we just gotta hit the three, bro. Like even that's been the problem in many of these games where we just can't hit the three, and then we fall behind. And the Thunder's one of those teams that if you fall behind against the Thunder, they can keep the lead going a little bit, and they tend to not really lose the lead too much. So just gotta make sure we're going. The defense good. I know the defense showing up because Thibodeau's gonna rip somebody's head off if you're not playing defense. So I know that's fine. It's just the 3-point shooting, and just knock down some threes. Keep playing the great basketball that Knicks fans have been dying to watch, and you're gonna be seeing Ethan with a pair of boxes on his head.
We'll see. It could be the other way around. Depends how your Knicks want to play tonight.
We'll be all right. Nah, I'm not even confident. Let me not even lie. But yo, speaking of confidence, can we talk about how confident we were that Brooklyn was going to lose that game last night against the 76ers with no Kyrie and no KD, and the Nets still pulled it off?
Yeah, I literally want to give a shout out to my boy John. He literally said, bet the Nets. They're going to win. He's like, they had the new jerseys out. They had the blue jerseys. I thought he was just talking out his ass, and they won. LeVert went off. Jared Allen went off. I was like, what is
Joe
going on?
Harris was knocking it down.
I don't understand. They don't have Kyrie. They don't have KD. They don't have Spencer Dinwiddie.
But this kind of adds to the whole story of Kyrie. Last year they didn't have Kyrie. They still got into the playoffs. And when Kyrie was on the Celtics not playing, they looked better without Kyrie. So now let me raise this question to you. Seeing where the Nets are at, in 2 years, would you re-sign Kyrie Irving?
No. There's no question. He doesn't want to play. You literally said it in text. I don't want to play. I'm not going to.
Hold on. Where did you see this? Because I was wondering what happened, and I heard that Steve Nash was trying to get to him. Steve Nash didn't know where he was. No one on the team knows what's going on. They just heard personal reasons. But then apparently there's a text floating around talking about, I just didn't feel like playing.
That's what I keep hearing in every single newscast. It's like I didn't feel like playing it. He didn't go to Memphis, which is I think tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So what is happening with him? Period. Does he even want to play for the Nets?
A lot of people are asking, does it have to do with what happened, on Wednesday? Because he was one of those people that was very vocal about the Black Lives Matter movement when George Floyd had a knee on his neck and stuff. So people were like, is it that? But no one's been able to confirm it. So,
which we understand. Time and a half, he'll take it. It's personal. It's definitely somewhere in his heart that he doesn't feel like playing. And we understand, but let your players and coaching staff know, we're going away. On some Dennis Rodman in the finals, I'm going to WrestleMania. Do something.
Yeah, he just they have no clue what happened with him. So that's that. I don't know. Anything else you want to bring up, in the basketball world?
I mean, the ball plays today. LaMelo and Lonzo. How you feel about that?
The dad LeVar ain't gonna shut up about this, and two, is there really much to watch? I mean, either LaMelo's gonna be dropping it down, or people are gonna be like, "Wow, this dude really sucks," and then Lonzo, everybody's just gonna be like, "Oh wow, look where you should be if LaMelo's going off," and then it's a lose-lose situation in my opinion for both of them. Either Lonzo gonna look really good, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's what LaMelo's supposed to look like," but he sucked tonight, or it's gonna be the other way around. You're like, "Oh look, Lonzo sucks now." Cool, something we didn't know. So I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a recipe for disaster. In my opinion.
I understand.
Who am I?
I understand. Going through these COVID lists, you have the Celtics, multiple players. Last week, I think it was the Rockets. Steph Curry from the 76ers. Is it a concern already?
I mean, it's we kind of expected it, honestly. No bubble. I mean, obviously, you're not going to put these guys through a bubble for 5 months. That's a little extreme. But you saw it with the NFL. You're still seeing it with the NFL, which we're going to talk about later a little bit more. And it's just one of those days that they're going to have to get over this hump and really figure out how are we going to handle this? Because it's going to be a shaky season, dog. Especially if one entire team gets COVID. What happened with the Rockets and Thunder game where they got postponed. Luckily, I mean, the Nets only had KD from contact tracing, but Like, luckily, no one else on the Nets have gotten it yet. So it's weird. And I look at Seth Curry last night. He's literally sitting on the bench, and then it's reported that he got COVID.
That's
Like
scary.
Embiid now say he's gonna stay away from his family because he don't want to give nobody COVID. So it's like it was expected. You feel me? Like I was expecting it. I knew that realistically they can't do a bubble because that's OD having these guys in these little things for like they couldn't do 2-3 months. Imagine keeping them in there for like 6 months. That's insane.
That is.
So it was a little bit. It was a little expected. You feel me? Like not to keep
I
repeating
agree.
myself, but
No, I definitely agree that what they're doing is only so much you keep out of contact. They're with your players all day, so like there'll be a handful that might have it with them, which is maybe Steph Curry and Embiid. Hopefully not. Hopefully just Steph Curry's at quarantine and then he's back. I think they got a game tomorrow. I think or day after, and they probably got to
tomorrow.
quarantine within that tomorrow, right? So Embiid's probably even going to quarantine just to make sure nobody else gets it.
Wouldn't they all have to quarantine, technically speaking, though, because they all came in contact with him?
Technically, yes, but I don't know how they're going to play it off. I don't know how the coaching staffs are played off, the NBA. I don't know.
Because they got to play Denver at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So
Oh,
what
yeah,
do you?
tomorrow Saturday. I think they
Yeah,
got early game. Okay, yeah. How wouldn't I bet you'll postpone it because who knows what's gonna happen with testing. But I don't know. It's a shaky situation already. Like we're second, third week already.
yeah, and this is still not even close to being like the peak yet of any of this because COVID is like it's out here. For lack of
Agreed.
better words, it's really out here.
Like people there gotta be careful.
How do you feel about gameplay in general? But I wanted to bring this up to you because I feel like I've seen a lot of blowouts this year, like a lot. Like I feel like there's no in between. Like it's either a really like close game or a blowout. Like there's no like it's a 10 point, 8 point. Like it's either mad close or it's like 30 points in every game recap.
I agree. I think it's been a little weird. Like Celtics just had 3 game winners. I think the past 2 weeks. Like and it's the Celtics. Like they should be winning these games. These teams that they've been playing, but and there's blowouts. We saw the Mavs blow out the Clippers, 50 points in the first half. So it's a weird season already.
Yeah. How do you feel though? You think it's really just people getting back in shape because they haven't played basketball for so long? Others being tired because they played like not too long ago. Like you think it's a combination of all of that?
I think it's more of a combination, a little bit of both. There's so many players that I think now coaching staff is rotating, so they're really unloading that bench right now. Like 10th, 11th, 12th players like, yo, get in there because the starters are tired. They're not used to this. I mean, Lakers just played what before the season, 59 days, I think it was. I forgot exact amount, but they literally just finished and
71?
played. I think yeah, 71. That's the off season. Like that's not enough
Yeah.
off season to for them to chill. And AD and LeBron been playing well, but they're gonna get tired. Like
Yeah, you got to think ahead. But what do you do in the situation of let's say Toronto and Washington, who Toronto's 1-6 and Washington's 2-6. Can you afford to rest your starters, or is it kind of just let's rest the starters now while we're still kind of close, and then we can deploy them later on to like get that push?
I
What's your
mean,
opinion on this?
first thing I want to say, I was still pissed that Siakam had was on timeout just for leaving the bench for fouling out. Still mad about that. Made me lose the fantasy. Um, but it depends. I feel like you can sit Laurie, keep Siakam, and then vice versa, and rest Westbrook and keep Beal in. I mean, he just had 60 the other game, and they almost won. So I feel like you can kind of work around it, but to win games, they probably need as many players as possible just to stay in that playoff range, especially in the West and the East. East has been a little crazy.
Yeah, East is looking a little more competitive than I think people expected out the gate.
Yeah, I agree because they can't slack in my opinion.
Word. Um, Lastly, how you feel about the injuries that have been going on?
That Fultz tear in the ACL,
Yeah,
man.
Fultz turned it. You think that's you? What do you think about Markel Fultz? Let's get into this before we get into the playoffs for the NFL. Like,
I
is
mean,
it coming to the close to the end for Markel Fultz, or is it like a motivation story type thing?
I feel like a motivation story. I feel like he can come back and still play for the Magic because he's been playing so well. If he stayed with the 76ers, I'm sorry, that would have been done. Like, he would have had
Yeah.
no play time. He'd been coming off the bench after a tear. They would have just released him. So yeah, I think he'll come back healthy, hopefully.
I don't know. I'm on the fence, bro. I really
You
am. Like,
think he's done up?
he had the shoulder that ruined his shooting form, and he was just about to get back into shooting. And now you got the ACL tear where you're gonna have to sit out for a while until it heals, re-strengthen the knee, and then start shooting again. Like, and we don't even know how he's gonna come back. Because let's be honest, we've seen people tear the ACL, and they're a little bit slower for a cool long while before they can actually get it going. So I don't know, man. I really don't know what
It's
happens to Marco Fultz now.
it's always terrifying. I mean, we're seeing Clay miss his second season in a row. Like, there's so many players that it's just hard to like watch them. Cause we love Clay. He can shoot three still coming next year, but it's so hard coming off the Achilles, even KD. Like, there's so many injuries coming off. It's hard, but
You got Kemba, who I haven't been fantasy. They don't even know what's happening with him yet, so I'm still holding on just in case. But they're like, yeah, we're not in a rush to bring him back, but we'll change the timetable soon. I'm like, so can y'all tell me? Because I got Ja Morant on the injured list too, and I got Seth Curry who has COVID now, who's eligible to be on the injured list. So can we kind of hurry this up a little bit and kind of say what's going on? But I don't know. This season's crazy, bro. Like I feel like they're just finding any reason to sit people out right now. Like I've been seeing it, like knee soreness, like calf strain. I'm like, but you was just playing 30 minutes and look fine. Like at the end of the game, like what's going on?
no, it's been crazy, especially for our fantasy. But like for real life, for these players, I feel like they're just since like they're getting fined if you say a national game. So I know they're really trying their hardest to play those games, but rest of the days there's still an injury in between. So Kawhi actually played a back to back after I think like 100 and something games. His first back to back.
Yeah, because he got a busted lip. He said, "All right, y'all need to stop playing games with this." Do you think
Um,
Kawhi's going back to the Clippers, and that's why he's playing again to like show people that he's worth the money?
I feel like he has to now. Like that last series against the Nuggets, that 3-1 comeback. Like, you just gotta come back stronger. Him and playoff P.
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like Clay, there's something, bro. Like there really is something that makes me think he's gonna leave the Clippers.
I mean, you got Chip and Raptors and then left the year after, so anything is possible.
And for Henry playing back to back for the first time in years, that means he's trying to prove that he's healthy. Because personally, if I'm seeing you sitting back to backs, and you're not like Westbrook, that you're sitting a back to back out of precaution, you're sitting a back to back for the last 3 years because you had this mystery leg injury that no one to this day has said what it is. Like I'm not signing that. You bugging out. So we'll see what happens, man. It's been an interesting NBA season so far, and it's only game what 9,
I think so. It's
9 and 8.
hasn't been nothing crazy.
Whole another 64 to go. So
Yep. We're gonna see how this season goes.
we'll be talking a lot about that all the way up into the postseason. And talking about postseason, let's transition into the NFL now. Ethan, where do you want to start? Do you want to go in order from Saturday afternoon all the way down to Sunday night, or you want to start with the big storyline of the weekend with the Browns and Steelers?
Let's start with the Browns and Steelers. There's been so many talks.
Browns and Steelers play Sunday at 8:15. Their head coach has COVID, and 2 other coaches and several players have COVID. What do you do if you're the NFL?
Everybody's been talking about postponement. I think you have to. I think you have your main coach. There's the first round. They have to win against the Steelers. Like, he has to be there. And you need your players. I think you have to postpone it for a little bit. Just at least Wednesday, Thursday, they did it for regular games. I think you can do it for the post game.
But what happens if you postpone it to the Thursday, and then let's say, the Browns win. The Browns are the lowest seed besides the Colts. The Colts, I don't think, are beating the Bills, so the Browns would have to play the Chiefs. And do you really want to postpone the Chiefs and Browns game, knowing that the Chiefs are your moneymaker?
You really don't. Like, honestly, you don't. But like for the sake of this season, I feel like they should, but that's hard. It's
Yeah,
hard.
because like you need to look at what could end up happening down the line too. So it's like if the Browns win and the Bills beat the Colts are the 7th seed, the Browns are the 6th seed. The 6th seed would be the lowest remaining seed, and they're playing the Chiefs. So now, I mean, it won't hurt because it's still the Chiefs. Anybody's going to watch the Chiefs any day of the week. But then you got to think of down the line, too, because then you're like, okay, so if you're playing Thursday, when can we play you again? And then it kind of throws everything off a little bit.
It's hard because honestly, at this point, I feel like the Steelers are gonna win regardless. Um, so they feel the same. They're probably gonna be like, "Yo, just play Sunday, let it rock." The main coach to just replace somebody. So it's hard on the Browns itself, but knowing the NFL, they might just say, "Yo, just play."
So I actually had this theory, and I'm like, I wonder why they haven't talked about this. I was like, why doesn't the Pittsburgh Steelers just allow him to be a coach in the stand if they're not going to have fans for the playoff game? No one's in the stands. He could be far away from everybody, like in row 20. Like, why not just do it like that?
It sounds legit. I mean, why not? I mean, never been done, but it's a hell of a season. So why not just do it?
I guess the complaint they'll have is leverage. I don't know. Most of the coordinators are all the way up top anyway, so might as well just leave him in the field, like by himself, just there.
It actually sounds perfect to me, but again, the NFL, no NFL, they'd be like, nah, something's gonna happen. It could be out there.
Yo, all I know is if the Browns win this game against the Steelers have no excuse, dog, because the Steelers are getting an opportunity to move on yet again on some BS to keep going on after their terrible schedule that they had this beginning of the year to make them undefeated, and now you got this. But I got the Steelers in that game. What's your pick?
I got Steelers.
All right, and then let's go back up top. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Colts, Bills. Who you got? Bills are playing their first home playoff game since 1996. Me and you were not even alive. We were in – you know what? Hold on. There might be kids. Let's not even talk about what it might be. But we was not on this planet yet.
The Bills are like that. Josh Allen's going to take over the game. It's a very easy W. Saying that right now. Guaranteed. Where did Charles Barkley?
Guaranteed.
Bills are winning.
God, you really gonna bring on that Chuck bad luck, bro? Nah, I'm with you though. I don't see nobody stopping Stephon Diggs on that Bills team. And if you try to, they got John Brown, they got Gabriel Davis. I don't know if Cole Beasley's back, but even if you use John Brown and Gabriel Davis alone, that's enough. You got Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox, and they got a pretty good defense going up against Phillip Rivers, who we know is known to choke very hard in playoff scenarios or any game that means something. So
that man doesn't leave the first round. I don't know what it is, but he does not go past the first round.
Yo, he's like the old Raptors, dog. When they had DeRozan and Lowry, like they just never.
They don't.
The Saturday 4 o'clock game, you got the Rams and Seahawks. The Rams have allowed 18.5 points per game this season, fewest in the NFL. Who do you have between the Rams and Seahawks?
Now that they've been saying golf is back, this will be, I think, a little challenge, but I still got Seahawks.
Yeah. They, like you said, I think it comes down to Jared Goff. They're saying that they're a little uncertain on his status. He says he's good, but they're like, you kind of suck, though, regularly when you're healthy. So
we're going to need you to sit up.
I think the Seahawks got this, although their defense is terrible. The Rams' defense is really good, but their offense, I can't see them getting anything going.
Going to that defense, Jamal Adams is on offensive play. Do you have any comments on that, sir?
You better win. They better. All I know is if they don't go to the Super Bowl, it was a failed attempt on everything you said that you wanted. That's all I care about. Because at the end of the day, LeBron is LeBron because he won chips. If this dude went to all these playoffs, we would not be talking about LeBron the same way that we talk about him if he's out here losing the big games. He ended up going to chips. He won chips, and that's when we talk about LeBron. We do not talk about LeBron because, oh, he made the playoffs. Cool. Nah, Darrell Reeves has one Super Bowl chip with the Patriots. He was still a lockdown corner that has the respect of the world because it is Darrell Reeves. Jamal Adams is just another safety. He could be replaced by anybody that comes up out of college. He didn't even get in the top of the All-Pro team voting. I don't want to hear nothing. My rant is done.
So going on to the next game.
Buccaneers are football team. This is an interesting game. This is going to be Tampa's first playoff since 2007. Me and you were 9 years old. Or 8.
That's wild.
9. Yeah, 9.
That's wild.
Chris was probably even older. That's the crazy part. But who's your team, bro, in this situation?
I got Bucks. As much as everybody's been preaching about this Washington defense, they have no offense. You have sadly broken Alex Smith and a third string that will come in if he doesn't play.
Yeah, and then everybody knows you only got the run game because if you can't throw the ball to Scary Terry, there ain't nothing to talk about. So
Nope. And you got Tom Brady in the playoffs. I know he's been doing bad all season, but it's this playoff scenario. Antonio Brown's back. I think Mike Evans is hurt, but
Mike Evans is hurt, but they're still gonna kill them.
yeah, either way. Let's just say
I got the
Bucks.
Bucks. I do think that Washington will make it interesting on the defensive side of the ball. Next game, Sunday, 1:00, Ravens Titans. Who you got? I
This might be the go, please.
personally got the Ravens.
Presley got the Ravens.
Yes.
I think I got Titans. I think I loved them so much last playoffs. That coach played so well against the Patriots, and I know they lost, but like their scheme is just amazing in my opinion. I don't know. I want to say I want to see the Titans go far, but again, I don't want to see the Ravens lose in the first round.
Yeah, Lamar has to win this, and I think Lamar will be the X factor. You really can't defend Lamar Jackson, dog. Like you think you have him contained, and he just finds a way to say, "Yo, you don't got me contained." They got Marquise Brown has been looking a lot better the last few weeks on this anemic offense, and they still got Mark Andrews and Des Bryant has been making a silent comeback. You know, like with his touchdowns in the end zone, that's a big target. So, I personally think the Ravens should be able to pull this off.
Okay, I'm still just thinking about Titans though. I think that offense can facilitate against the Ravens defense. Titans defense not so much. It's a little shaky, but if they can stop the run, I think they'll do pretty well. Keep it a close game.
You think this is the highest scoring game of the weekend?
I want to say the Bills Colts will be, but I'm not sure. Well, what's the game after that?
We got the Bears and Saints. I do not see this being.
Hell no.
I do not see this being a shootout. That's going to be a defensive game to the max.
That's going to be 14-17 type of game.
And then Brown Steelers at the night.
Oh, no. Okay. It's either between the Ravens and the Bills game. Then it'll be the highest scoring game.
Right.
But, all right, we'll see. Ravens or Titans. It'll be interesting.
And then, like I said, Bears Saints. That's the 4:00 Sunday game. Who you got? Chicago has lost 6 straight games versus New Orleans. The last win they had was Week 15 of 2008.
God damn. It's a crazy stat.
Yeah. So who you got in this game?
Again, I love the Bears because they've been looking so good these past 2 weeks. But it's Mr. Trubisky against Drew Brees. I mean,
Could have said it better myself, bro. That's my reasoning. That's the thing I'm going with too. Like, nah.
Saints.
Yeah, I got Saints, bro. Like, the defense of the Saints is great. You got Drew Brees, who knows the situation, Michael Thomas, and Kamara. Like, what more is it to say? Emmanuel Sanders, like, Jared Cook.
Exactly. They're good.
Now, I will give the Bears some credit. I do think their offense can keep it close. But Drew Brees and Crunchime is going to be the ultimate decider unless the Bears defense can get one of those stops and make Drew Brees look like, you know, the Drew Brees that everybody questions in the playoffs and they say, is it time to retire? So, I still got Saints, though, at the end of it all.
Yeah, I got Saints.
And then Steelers Browns 8 o'clock, like we both said. Steelers, no
Yeah.
question about it.
Yeah.
Word. So that'll be the wild card round, and then we will see what the scenarios are after the wins and losses this week, and we'll see who the lowest seed is to go up against the Chiefs and Packers after the week of that. We're gonna get to this Knicks and Thunder game now, and
Yes, sir.
see who got where these boxes, and hopefully Chris will be back next week. With
Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right. Hope they're nice and clean, nice and bleached.
I'm up when I see this pregame. I better be up 10 points.
Don't be doing that, all right? But we'll be back on Tuesday, E. Hopefully Chris will be back, and we'll be here to break down everything we saw over the weekend.
Yes, sir. Enjoy your weekend, sir.
Word, bro. Peace.
Peace.